Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, one of those. Um, so I'm back, Bogey the Wandering Monk, as I like to call myself now. I don't. That's just for the YouTube. I'm still just Bogey to you and the world. This subject, I don't know if it does hit, in different perspectives and different angles, and I would love to hear some feedback or even added perspectives to it. Um, one of the things that I've been able to experience during my life is love and happiness. And I always think that that doesn't come at a cheap cost. There's so many different things that go into play with it. A lot of it is just emotions, right? What you feel, what you want, what you aspire to have next to you, with you, during, all the time, whatever it might be. And I started realizing that it is really a great thing to have, love and happiness, right? There's even a song, that's out there. And maybe I'll put that as the backdrop of this video. But the reality is that there's so many different emotions, and some that are bad that hopefully bring you closer together, or, you know, make you understand each other for better. And also, could be through the worst of times. And I think most people have experienced those. And a couple of the words that I think about, you start off with, in my case, was admiration. I have admiration for my wife. That was at least the word I always talk about the most. But, you have, I think, expectations of who you're going to be with, how get along, how everything is going once you're dating, or courting, or whatever the word is for you. There's sympathy, motivation, there's happiness, there's a feeling that you get, the butterflies in the stomach, or how you feel when that person holds your hand, or if you're walking down the street, or you see them when they walk in the room. All those things are great. I think there's a couple of other things that are, I think, bad words. Um, and I think a couple of them is one of them that I've learned. I think it hits different people, and one of them is being a coward. I think cowardness is a big part of an emotion that you deal with in a relationship when you're looking for love, or you're looking for that same happiness with that person. And the cowardness could be several different things. It could be um, you just not fessing up to who you are to be better. We're holding back emotions that maybe we shouldn't. You always hear that guys are probably not the best communicators, and that's really a big reality. If you look around, I have friends who have couples, and it's always the guy who's working on being proudful or prideful, and not being able to just say, hey, I love my wife, or tell her directly. You could say it in public, you could say it behind closed doors, but it's, whatever you do in front of people should be done behind the closed doors as well, because we all fall, we all fail. The question is, how do you respond from it? How do you bounce back from that? So you have, that's one of the words. I think cowardness is one of them. The one that's the strongest of all. Um, and this could be for you personally, or also what you've done in the relationship. And I think betrayal. I think betrayal is the word that is probably the strongest one that I've thought about during this process of talking about this to myself, because I talk a lot about who I want to be, what I should be, what I'm going to be, but also what message I have to hopefully share with people. Maybe I'm able to say something. I think the cowardness is the biggest thing of all. I think men have a big issue in just being able to be stronger than they really are. And what that means is that sometimes you just gotta be quiet and listen to your spouse, be it a girl, a guy, whoever that person is that makes you happy. And it's usually guys, because we have a lot of pride. There's a lot of, we talk it up, we make it seem like we're all of that, and it's a very simple thing that guys do. And I always remember saying, when I first moved to Jersey. When I moved from New York, I moved to Jersey for a year. For those who don't know, I moved to Jersey for about a year before I moved to Florida. It might be a little bit more, but definitely a year. Excuse me, you're not supposed to see those things, but it's reality. And one of the things that me and my group of friends, that I know I invited into them, and we're talking about machismo to the 100%. All of my friends were, always trying to date girls, are dating girls, whatever. It was always a guy girl thing for my crew. We had but the one thing that I invited into our relationship, that I was the first one, and mainly because that's the way I was taught, was to say I love you. And I'm talking, mid 90s, you a guy telling another guy I love you. I have a group of friends that now would probably that they were friends back in the day, that I feel they didn't have that. I know them now that they were one of the circles that I learned over the, my last years in New York. And, you know, me being able to say I love them is different. I don't say it as much to them, and that's the circle that I talk about, or at least the emotion that a guy goes through. But the group before that, um, the people that I consider my brothers, the people that I, would throw myself, to the wolves for, I would be seeing them. I'd hug them. When I see them now, a hug and a kiss on my cheek, and I love you. And, some of it is because we're older. So there's a lot of love, but it's again, they were a big part and are a big part of who I am. But we were doing that years ago. What are we, 24, 1920? So we're talking about 30 years ago. We were doing I love you and hugs and, all of that stuff. It's why we were strong, and why, their kids are in utmost priority to me, their safety, and vice versa. I know that my kids to them are a great priority to them, and that's obviously what makes us strong. But I see a group of friends who are in the same type of mentality that I met them later in life, and there's like 5 or 6 of them, and they would never. I could tell that they wouldn't be those I love you, and not saying that that makes us better. It just made us different. We were differently built because of it. Our relationships were stronger because of it. But having that, I hope, allowed each and every one of us to deal with our partner in a better way. Because if we were, strong enough, I don't want to say man enough, because that's such a, such a sexist word sometimes. Ooh, no, not that, because again, guys are supposed to be tough. We're supposed to be all this, but to me, if a guy can bow down to a friend and tell them how much they love them, and not afraid to be in touch with their emotions, then that emotion hopefully goes on to their spouse. Or I keep saying spouse because I think everybody should be married. Maybe not. I say that jokingly. I say spouse because when I speak of relationships, I speak about my spouse. But if you have a girlfriend, or a boyfriend, or whichever you have, you should hopefully allow your emotions and your communication to be very visible, very clear, and not be afraid to say things, for 2 reasons. I think there might be more. The first reason is because it makes the connection better. But the second one, I think, is it allows to clear you up to understand what's coming back, because you might be in a relationship that is all hunky-dory, honeymoon, and all of this different stuff, and then all of a sudden you start saying things to that other person, and all of a sudden that other person is not responding in the manner that you want. So you're either going to get molding yourselves together, or one's going to grow out and go, you know what, it's not what I expected. This person is not growing in the manner that I'm expecting them to. So I think all these emotions come in, and I think betrayal is one of the bigger ones, because you also could betray yourself. You betray yourself in your beliefs, your wants, your needs, and what you expect. Because I've talked about this in the past, that your expectations should be yours and nobody else's. And if you believe you deserve something that's important to you, if it's the silliest of things, it's just affirmation from your partner, then you know what? And it's not coming, and you don't see that person ever becoming that, then at some point, hopefully that helps you say, you know what? I have to be prepared to rework my relationship, or find my way out of this relationship, and hopefully find somebody who will give me the things that I deserve. There is a 50-50 side of everything, right? Compromise. You compromise to some of the things. Maybe that person doesn't give you the affirmations, but maybe gives you, maybe builds you in a certain way. So I think you have to at least put yourself in all these situations where you grab everything that should help you to make your decisions better. Because you know what? The one thing you learn is not getting too old too fast, and then being someone go, damn, I should have done this, or I should have said that to that person. Because again, the pride in who you are. And not everybody's sensitive. Not everybody has the ability to communicate. I bump into people all the time that in my head, I'm not judging, but I go, man, how do they have a relationship with people if they can't even communicate clearly with somebody who's just asking a simple question: is this blue or is this white? And they go, I don't know, I'm not sure. And then quiet down. That's the type of people I talk about. And if you're one of those who are a little bit more quieter, then you might not get everything you're looking for, and you might be regretting some of the situation, or situations that you're in. Putting my glasses on because there was a couple. My conversations with you are usually just very organic. Not usually, they are. I mean, I have them based on what I plan on saying. Oh, look at my hair. I know I shouldn't be talking about it. Yeah, of course I should. Look at my hair; it's pretty dope at times. There goes my curl that I was telling you about. If I haven't, my curl drops. Um, yeah, I talk about cowardness, betrayal. I think the other side of it too is having hope and strength in that hope. There's a lot of times that you forget to hope. We should hope. We should have a moment that we feel that I hope this works out. Okay, well, how does you hope? What plan of action are you taking to make it the hope become a reality? Right? There's the A to B prospect. You're in the middle. The again, what I've always talked about: the born date and the dead date. What have you done in the middle? What was that dash all about? So I think you have to consider all these things when you go through any relationships. I think one of the ones, it's a weird word because it also depends on your situation. You might have or might not have gone through stuff, but sympathy. I think when you have somebody who's sympathetic to you in your worst moments, is a person that you want next to you because they're showing compassion towards you. They do it because they love you, but at the same time, if it comes somewhat natural, or even if they're faking it, you could at least know that they realize that that's the emotion that should be interjected into the moment. That if you feel a certain way, that they come over and you be like, "Hey, are you okay?" And no, what's the matter? No, nothing. I don't want to talk about it. No, tell me, talk to me. Those situations. Everybody's been in those, right? You always have the famous thing is like, nothing. That we know nothing means something, and sometimes it could be bad somethings, right? But so I want you to bring those words hopefully into your relationships, whatever it might be. And that's also with your kids, with your parents. All these videos are about relationships, I think, more than anything. And the main relationship is yourself. You have to understand who you are, what you want. And I say this, listen, again, at 53 years old, I had a lot of those early on. I don't know what made me smart, if it was my parents, the streets of New York. God touched me with a little bit of intelligence when it comes to that stuff. For years, a lot of people would talk to me, and I counseled them, and then later I became somewhat of a, I don't know what the word is. I guess counselor too, but not a mentor. I mean, I definitely mentored some people. There were some people in my life that I felt automatically needed me. I was drawn to say something to them because I felt they needed to talk and I needed to listen, which is very rare, as you could tell. But my words always come back to people. I would hope that what I had to say was something that was important to them and something that was substantial for them to not only grasp it, try to put it into their world, and then, if anything, have great results because of it. So when I talk on these videos, a lot of it is just about relationships and reminding us, right, to do things. There's some things you already know better than I do in your relationship, absolutely 100%. I just want to be the reminder of some of these things. And I think that if you're going to strengthen any relationship that you have, the number one thing should be your pride needs to take aside, take the passenger seat and be able to say what you need to say. Because the earlier you say it, I believe that it makes the path to clarity a lot faster, a lot sooner, a lot better. And sometimes you gotta, you might not find the answers that you want, but not finding those answers also helps you find the answer that you do. And I see it in relationships, I see it in a lot of relationships. Am I a relationships counselor? Absolutely not. But I feel that I have the tools that make a good relationship. I fought through mine, recently 20 years together with my partner, and known a little bit longer than that, maybe 23 years, 24. I don't know. I'm supposed to know that stuff, but really, I think it's 24 years we've known each other. And when we decided to be together, I had no clue of what was going to come. I learned so much, and I'm still learning so much. I definitely, you've heard that in the last 10 years, I've learned a lot of who I am. And the reason I think I went searching for myself was because I realized that You know, my partner might not be in love with me. Not saying that, not in my case. My partner did love me and does love me, but I have my own doubts, right? You know, like I have a beautiful partner that I think to myself, you know, I have my own insecurities, and I go to myself and say, you know, what if she gets tired of me? What if she doesn't love me? What if she's not attracted to me? She's told me several times different, and I believe her because I believe in her. I believe in us, and she's told me, you know, the things that I want to hear, and those are important. But you know, I also think sometimes, you know, not our relationship, but relationships can be a little bit, yeah, yeah, of course I do, but they're not, of course, you know, and that's the stuff that I'm hoping to get out, you know, and helping the people that I know, people that listen to me. It's just I just wanted to talk about love and happiness. How do you achieve those two? You know, and like I said, that it doesn't come at a cheap price because you have to. It's an ongoing building of disappointments, frustrations, could be depressions. There's high peaks too. You know, there's proud moments. There's you know, moments that you just have this feeling in your gut and you're just so happy that you are with that person because of how they make you feel. You know, the simplest of things. I always said that, you know, that person walks into the room, you're in one corner with some people talking, all of a sudden that person either went to the bathroom or showed up late, and they come walking in, and that comes over you of proud, and that is the person that I want you to know if you don't know them already. And I'm a much better person because they're in the room now. So, you know, finding that stuff is not easy. I think that you have to personally look into the mirror, decide what it is that you deserve and at what age. Because these messages are to the 20-year-olds, to the 30-year-olds, to the 40-year-olds, to the 50-year-olds, maybe even 60-year-olds. You know, people that are still searching. And the reason you might still be searching at a later age is because you haven't found the clarity that you deserve of what do I deserve. And because you don't have that foundation set in stone, you're accepting of people who are not, you know, who are not deserving of you or your time. You know, so there's a lot of these little things that you have to at some point or another just be ready, be aware. And so with that being said, you know, I hope you you know, comment below. Like I said, if you share my videos, that's also great. If you have time, I love, you know, my subscribers to pass me on to people who are not subscribed, and maybe this helps people. This particular one, like I said, was just about understanding that love and that happiness that you search for and you hope to find. You might even have it, obviously, right? You know, you listen to Bogey and go, oh, you know, he's telling me everything I know already. That's great. But there's some people that are in the middle. They don't even know if they're headed to love and happiness. They could be going through their own turmoil, their own questioning of insecurities and doubts. And is this person or this person treated me in a certain way? Am I willing to be strong enough to fight through that? Am I willing to be where I take my pride and set it aside and ask the person outright, you know, what do they expect? What do they want? And can I be that person? And vice versa. Is this person worthy of me? And so if you could find those questions and get answered, and the only way you do that is communicating. You know, you have to have a partner that is willing to communicate. If that partner doesn't want to communicate, then you know what? At some point, you just have to say to yourself, maybe this is not the person, because we're going to wait too long to get the right answers. And by that point, we're so far down the road that we look back and go, damn, I should have done something. And I know we all know those people. We've seen friends and family suffer through it. I mean, some parents, some of our parents, you know, not in my case, I was, again, like I was lucky, but I have friends who have parents that didn't realize it until after 40 years of marriage. Or, you know, the famous saying that I tell people, and I love it because I heard it so many years ago, is that the husband marries the wife because he's hoping she never changes, and that the wife marries the man hoping that she can change him. And it's the total opposite. It's the guy who stays pretty much stagnant, doesn't move a lot. You know, he's stuck in his ways per se, right? Those ways are good. You know, it could be happy, lazy, go lucky, you know, happy go lucky, whatever. And the female can be, you know, whatever she is. And the one thing I've learned is that women have more emotions. They deal with them better, maybe differently better. I don't know, right? Because we have some guys who do deal with emotions better than others. So to me, this is a cry out to finding those things in yourself and finding those things in your partner. Once you find it for you, then you talk to your partner and see if they're willing and ready to fulfill these things for you because you deserve it. So, with that being said, I have no problem doing questions. I want to do a podcast. Excuse me, man. That's all that alcohol I've been drinking. That's why I'm doing these. I'm drunk. Far from it. I'm tired. I think my eyes talk about how lazy and tired I am. But so yeah, finding clarity. That's again what I've been trying to do through this process. My clarity has come into play a lot over the last, like I said, 10 years. A lot of it is this what I'm doing. I hope to be involved in a podcast at some point. I have some friends who have started podcasts, and I keep thinking I'd be a wonderful, wonderful guest. So if you have one, call me on. I have no problem talking, giving my perspective. Not saying that it's right, but I definitely think my what I'm rooted in, which are all these great integrity, morals that have also been tested in my life. My morals have been tested. My integrity, I haven't passed every test when it came to that stuff. I'm learning how to fulfill those things, how to be better, how to be solidified with those too. Years ago, I remember a pastor talking, and I forgot what it was about, but he used the word absolute. And I always keep it, I kind of know what it is. It might be a little bit more personal, and this is why I'm not saying nothing. No, it was about relationships. I think it wasn't just a relationship with God, but I think it was with my partner, and talked about being absolute in who you are and what you're doing, and that was a catapult for our relationship to move forward, because we weren't maybe as absolute as we felt we were, or we thought we were, and that absolution is what put us on the path, because I heard that word, and to me, I take those words strongly. One of the things I take, the word I heard when I was doing, a dedication of my child in a church was, they said, God has charged you with this child. And I love that word. It kind of sounded, only word I've ever heard charged for was obviously something with law being broken and you're being charged with and you're going to jail. And so I flipped it. I was like, oh no, the charge is different. This is a positive charge. This is a charge for you to make sure that you keep this child in the relationship with God and also yourself. And hopefully within those eyes, something happens, And as much as these conversations, I stay away from talking about religion. The reality is a lot of my core is based on religious well-being, but sometimes just as simple as the basic stuff that we live on this earth with, which is integrity, with morals, scruples, and knowing that we get tested. I've been tested in my 53 years, and like I said, I failed. There's some I failed miserably. The question is, what did I do when I realized that I did? Then the other side of it was that if I hurt anybody in that process, how did I respond to them? What did I do? Because you can hurt somebody and they'll never be healed. We all know this, right? Because we've obviously been hurt in some cases, and we've never been healed. If you can be healed, I think a lot of it again is what you deserve, And if you feel that those people around you are giving you that stuff that you deserve, then you'll be healing faster. You'll understand healing a little bit better, or you'll understand how to deal with it. You'll have the better instruments, the better tools on how to go about that. So, again, I love you guys. I appreciate you listening, making it this far. I know it's a little bit longer of a video than normal. I'm trying to keep them, like I said, 12, 15 minutes. This one's 23 and some change, probably end up at 24 and change. But I do it because I feel a calling to help, or maybe be a voice, or maybe be a small little light that lights in you and goes, I didn't think about that. And I'm glad Bogey said something. And that for me, it comes from my heart. It's in here somewhere. But I mean it. I mean it. It's not something that I'm saying for a like or a share or a subscribe. Although if you want to do that stuff, all down here, there's probably these buttons down here. But no, if you can, keep paying attention to me. It makes me feel good that I can hopefully be a part of your life, and maybe a part of your life that means something to you and to the people that surround you, which more than likely I am. If I don't surround you and you're in another part of the world, which I know my video has hit some other places, pretty cool. Do the thing, talk, comment. I would love to talk to you. I have no problem, as you know, talking. So be well, Take care of yourselves. Love each other. Hug somebody. Hug a neck, as I always like to say. And know that the road is not done. The road is open, and you just have to keep traveling it to find that clarity in your life. And that clarity in your life, once you find it, you'll see that that love and happiness that we spoke about today will be right forefront of you, and you'll see it, and there'll be this incredible, genuine smile in you here, but also in here. And I have those. I'm lucky enough to have found those, and I just want to kind of continue to protect them and do whatever I have to do to make sure they're always in my life. And if you're listening to this, it's more than likely that you're part of that. So thank you. Take care. I'm gonna find a way to look in the camera. My eyes hurt because I'm blind, but we'll see what happens. Take care. Be well. I'll talk to you on the rebound.